SMH special. We have with us today two members of the hit group, the Miami Sound Machine, Emilio and Gloria. Hello, how are you? We'd like to welcome you to our studio. My name is Marva Dixon, and this is Emil Garcelle. And I would like to know, some of the questions is, which is your favorite of all of your songs?
Oh my God, that's a good question. I think that usually the favorite of the songs is the last one you recorded, because until that point you record it and it gets out in the street and you start listening to it, it's your favorite.
Yeah.
Then after that, the next one's your favorite.
Mm-hmm. And what is Lança Perfume?
Okay, Lança Perfume is the Brazilian title of our song Baila Comigo. Now in Portuguese, that has a meaning that has no meaning for everyone in the United States or even in the Latin community in the United States, because it's a little spray bottle that they use in the carnivals that has like a certain aroma that they spray. So that song is about that. But since you can't translate that because it has no meaning, you have to do another type of variation, which we did Baila Conmigo. But legally, you still have to put the name on the record.
I see. Me?
Okay, I got a question. What inspired you to be a musician?
Where's what?
What
What
inspired you?
inspired you?
You know, when I was a kid, I used to love music like I love music now, and I really enjoy, whenever we play or we tour, and being a musician. So I think when you're really a kid and you feel like you're playing an instrument or you want to, piano, whatever, you should play, and you never know. Then you become really. You have to go to school and study for a while, and then you become a musician.
Okay, is there anyone you owe this success to? Someone special?
To my whole group, to every member in the group, because without them for so many years, we went together for 8 years.
Yeah, I think the success of a group in particular has to do a lot with the solidarity of it and how unified you are and how much each person puts into it, because it's really a group effort. If you have somebody that's not doing their full capacity or their full effort, it kind of makes everyone else lag behind. So when you have everyone pushing towards one goal, that helps a great deal.
Do you plan to write any songs in English?
We've already written songs in English for this next LP. It's planned for this year coming up an attempted crossover into the American market. You know that's not easy because the competition is really very big. However, what we're going to do is we're going to record the whole album in Spanish and the whole album in English, and possibly come out with a 45 in English and see what happens with that.
One of the songs that Gloria's mentioned now is she's going to be singing that in October in Japan. She's going to be representing the United States in the Yamaha festival.
Yamaha Song Festival, and that'll be in English.
That will be in English.
So if something happens
So
there,
let's see what happens.
you were the first to know.
That's great. And are you easily recognized in public?
I'd say in Miami, definitely, really quickly, because we do a lot of television. And outside the United States also, because we do a lot of television outside. We just filmed 4 specials for Puerto Rican WAPA TV, WAPA. And those specials are seen all through Latin and South America and parts of Europe. We've also done TV that's been seen in Canada. So even in places like Las Vegas, where they see the shows filmed here, like at 1 in the morning, we were over there the other day and they recognize you just as much.
Plus, we do a lot of the commercials,
Commercials, right.
7-Up and a lot of things that way. It's through all the United States.
Okay, how long does it take you to produce an album?
An album will take me at least a year.
Yeah.
For example, now we're just getting the new repertory for the new album, and the album is going to be recorded in New York and London, next album. So usually it takes between, you get the repertory, you get the right arrangements, and the studio time, and the mixing, and the whole thing will take you over a year.
Right, because you know as a production crew that the shortest time that it takes is when you're actually on camera. So the shortest time in that span is when you're actually recording in the studio. But to prepare for that album, it takes about a year.
How did you get the name Miami Sound Machine?
Go ahead.
Well, Emilio used to have a group before named Miami Latin Boys. This was before I was in the group. So then when I joined up, of course they had to change the name because they couldn't keep the boys in there. At least I didn't want them to. So we were with RCA Records at the time, and we wanted to keep the Miami name because we represent Miami, because we've grown up here, and we really feel something very special for the city. So we wanted to keep that name, and at the same time it was like a special sound that was coming out of Miami, which is a mixture of the two cultures that we have that's so specific of this area. And the machine, it was like the beginning of the disco era. Sounds like a long time ago, but that word was really popular at the time because it was like a non-stop type of thing. So it just seemed to work, and plus it was lucky in numerology.
I remember,
So
you know,
kept it.
when we signed with the company CBS now, we're with CBS now, a lot of people say, maybe why don't you change the name? You know, maybe Miami just be so local. And now, believe it or not, the name worked out so well that every country, you know, knows about Miami Sound Machine. As a matter of fact, yesterday we got 2 gold records from CBS. And from the 3 Spanish artists that they have, one is Julio Iglesias, the other one is El Puma, and the third artist in sales all over the world is Miami Sound Machine. So we're really happy.
Thank you. Earlier this year in February, Miami Sound Machine had a concert in Chile, and now they have prepared a tape for us. Here's a videotape.
¡Ahí vamos! No se olviden nunca, ¿cómo me llamo? Gloria, Miami Sound Machine. Gloria.
We would like to thank Emilio and Gloria of the hit group Miami Sound Machine for coming to our school. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You're
It's
welcome.
a big pleasure. And we'll be back.
Excellent, and good luck in the future.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. This TV show has been produced by the Fifth Period Radio and TV Production with myself, Marva Dixon, and Elias Garcil. Have a nice day.
Te vi pasar hace solo un momento, el palpitar en mi corazón ya siento, quiero bailar y sentir tu cuerpo.
Welcome
Yeah, we
back
like
to
that.
Emilio and Gloria. This is a continuation of our interview with the famous Miami Sound Machine. Emilio, tell us about all the places that you interview in the world
Interview
and
when-
record and play and give concerts.
We've been interview in London, Paris, Spain, New York, Brazil, Chile, Puerto
And you
Rico.
have record contracts with many distributors.
Well, our recording commitment is with CBS, and that's
CBS
worldwide.
exclusively,
Yeah,
worldwide.
exclusive.
Very good.
Worldwide.
Right.
Gloria, tell me what you think of Julio Iglesias. I know he's a personal friend of yours. He recently appeared on the Bob Hope special, a
Sure.
fantastic Miami musician.
Well, in my opinion, he's, well, besides the fact that he's the #1 recording artist in the world
Right.
today,
Today.
record sales, in that whole scope of things, he's the #1. As a person, he's a very nice person. He's a perfectionist. And I believe he's opening the field of the American market for all Latin artists. I think he's doing an incredible job. And he's going to have very long-range effects on the entire Latin artistic endeavor.
Thank you. That's what I was hoping you would say, because he was received so well by President Reagan
Mhm.
at the affair, and
was
I think
really
this is a benchmark for the Latin American people.
Yes,
we
it
was
is.
invited by him when the opening of in Las Vegas,
Right.
and
His opening just
His
recently.
Vegas
opening,
opening, yes.
You were personal
And,
friends, personal invitation. Tell us about it.
and let me tell you, was a sold out for 2 weeks every night. It was
Yes.
unbelievable.
And he had very big names in the American market. The night we were there, Angie Dickinson was there, and Liberace was there, and he's in with a lot of these very big names in the American market. I
And he has
think
a
he's-
nice family.
Yes.
A very understanding wife who shares him with so many of us. You're lucky that you two are married and can travel together. I think
Very
that-
lucky.
Well, how do you find that? Do you find that an advantage or a disadvantage? Emilio, let's hear from the man first.
I think for me it's been fantastic because when you work with wife, you have the same goals. You pull one way, and we like what we're doing very much.
And Gloria?
Yes, I'd say the same thing, besides the fact that it'd be very difficult to be married to a musician because they're out 80% of the time. So since I'm with him, we enjoy it. It's like a vacation. Even though we work very hard, the tensions, I understand his tensions and he understands mine. So it's not as if he comes home and all of a sudden he's real tired from this trip and I'm all full of energy. And like it's the same kind of
That's great.
experience. It's very helpful.
That's marvelous. Talk about music. What kinds of songs are selling today? Fast, slow, romantic, sad?
Well, the ballad never ceases to sell. The romantic song has been number one since time began because everybody feels, emotional about somebody at a certain time, and there's always a song that represents how you're feeling at some moment. Okay.
Right.
Now, what happened with the fast music, I think, was like since there was so much overkill with disco, and everybody was like disco to death. What happens was that we're getting to more original types of music, even though the actual songs could be labeled disco. Now they changed the name to rock or punk or whatever. I think that now what the market is, that all kinds of music are being accepted.
Yeah. Mike, do you have any questions you'd like to ask about the music market?
As a band, I'm interested in radio as my career. How much do you rely on radio, both in Latin America and here in the United States, for your success?
Well, you depend 100%. I mean, if you take an album and they don't play it, you're never going to become famous, no matter what.
Right. Without the radio, there is no business.
Right.
Because now with videos, that's helpful, but videos are not, people have to be near a set in order to be with a video. A radio can be at the beach, in the car. You reach so many people with the radio that you don't reach with video. I think it's the main
thing.
The
The
main
beginning
thing.
is really hard because, when you take an album and they don't like it, they don't play it. Right now, for example, we get calls from Brazil or you name it, Mexico City, and they want as soon as possible you get the album out, they want it. So the radio station would play it first. All depends, it's a big competition. And when you are a little bit well known, they really want your album. The beginning, you have to go through a lot of hustle.
You really have to hustle, don't you?
Oh,
You
yes.
really have to get to your promoters
Right.
Yes,
and
you
have
do.
people who are interested in you.
For
as a
example,
person.
in our case, we used to own the recording company. My group and me,
Right.
we used to own the recording company. Me and Gloria, we used to go to New York and do all the promotion ourselves. Go to all the stations and things like that.
Yeah.
When we
Walk
was in
for
New York,
blocks.
CBS was interested in the group. So my lawyer, sat down with CBS for 2 years, and finally we got what we was looking for.
Now you have your own promotion manager and agents and these kinds of adjuncts.
Right.
I know you number 11 now because originally you were 5 or 7, and this shows a growing group that that you're self-supportive.
Right.
Most of your money comes from your royalties with your records,
Yeah, we do.
personal
we have
appearances.
And
Besides, we
publishing
have the
company.
publishing company.
Yeah,
Because
publishing.
music, use all the songs is write by Gloria, me, or Kiki, or
Yeah.
Wesley, any members of
Yes.
the group.
Right. I'm glad to hear that you're composing your own music because that's exciting. Any other questions? Yvette, do you have anything you'd like to ask? Anybody else? A
Don't be
final
afraid,
question or
don't be
two?
afraid.
Okay.
I want to know did you meet each other through music or did you meet each other before and then you got into the music together?
I see what you mean. Well, he had that group already, and I worked for him. He was my boss for a whole year before we even started dating. I called him
Now she's my boss.
the boss.
That makes a happy ending to a happy interview, and we're so delighted that you could be with us today, Emilio and Gloria.
very much. It's
We're
a
going to play
pleasure.
your records. We're going to tell everybody that we had the pleasure of meeting a
Thank you.
dynamic duo. Is that correct? Let's give them a very
Thank you very
warm
much.
appreciation.
Thank you very much.
The Miami Sound Machine.